I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to the Operation Freedom platform. It's my honor to have back with me someone who is a very dear friend, Dr. Peter Glidden, and someone who is one of the top, if not the top, naturopathic physician in not just our country, but the world. In addition to his phenomenal clinical skills, he's a fantastic author. I encourage you to get his books. They are the foundation of our medical library. I suggest they be the foundation of your medical library. Everybody is sick, and I know why. And Attempt a Cure with Holistic Medicine, both available on Amazon. Now, this is about we're coming on close to 50 segments that Peter and I have done that focus on empowering you, not empowering the pharmaceutical companies, big medicines such as the AMA, or the big medical insurance industry, but empowering you by giving you information that you can utilize to, if you will, fine-tune your body, to have your body help fix itself, rather than rely on synthetic medications or advice that's kind of meant to let you just kind of perk along. No, what our focus is on is empowering you so that you actually get to a state of affairs that your health and wellness is, in fact, almost on autopilot. And it's about utilizing the benefits of your own body in getting to a state that you're healthy. It's my honor to welcome back Dr. Peter Glidden. Peter, welcome back to the Operation Freedom platform.
Thanks, Dave. Always a pleasure to be here. And just a little segue on what you were just talking about. It just popped into my mind when you were saying it. You know, the easiest place to hide something is in plain sight. And with all of this coronavirus craziness, there is one glaring fact that goes right over everybody's head. The data are in. It's clear that the only people whose lives are in danger, who are at risk of dying from the coronavirus, are people with pre-existing health conditions. But nobody asks the question, why in the 21st century, in the United States of America, do we have so many people with pre-existing health conditions? Why do we have so many people who are sick and getting sicker and getting sicker? Why does that happen? Oh, conventional medical doctors will tell you it's genetics. It's baked into the cake. It's not genetic. Last time I checked, if Darwin was right, survival of the fittest is the thing, and the people with the bad heart gene and the people with the bad lung gene should have been deselected from the herd decades ago. It's not genetic. It has nothing to do with genetics. It has everything to do with the monopolization of the medical marketplace and the existence of a medical profession that's not trained in making people healthy. It's disease management. So in a disease management paradigm, your disease is managed. And as you get older, you get weaker. You need more drugs, and then you get a little bit sicker, and then you have a second or a third disease, then you need more and more drugs, and then you're sick all the way until death do us part. You know, type 2 diabetes is skyrocketing, Alzheimer's is skyrocketing, obesity is skyrocketing, life expectancy getting shorter in the United States. What the hell is going on? These are important considerations here. And this is why we desperately need a free medical market. We desperately need we need to give everybody a shot at it, because Big Pharma has let us down in this regard. They've helped us in other regards, right? True. Thank God for the sterile technique and lidocaine, and for goodness sakes, anesthesia. The stuff that they can do in surgery now is unbelievable. And you know, that's fantastic, but it doesn't do anything to make people healthy. And people get sicker and sicker and sicker, and then the coronavirus wind blows through and their house collapses because it's a house made of straw. And this is why our education, the time that we spend together, I really look forward to it, because it's an opportunity to open people's minds up to the reality of the situation. And the reality of the situation is that conventional medical doctors are fantastic for surgery when it's necessary, trauma care, fantastic. Thank God. That's what you did. You're an expert at it. One of the world's leading orthopedic surgeons. You helped thousands of people because they needed it. But that type of medicine is not any good for the conditions that most people go to the doctor for most of the time. Doesn't make people healthy. Doesn't make people's hearts healthier. Doesn't make people's lungs healthier. Doesn't make people's kidneys. Doesn't make them healthier. Mm-hmm. People desperately need to be healthy, and it's from my point of view, it's ironic, because one of the easiest things in the world to do is teach people how to be healthy. Because all you have to do is learn how to give your body the stuff that it needs. Mm-hmm. Because your body's working overtime to try to be healthy, but it needs a little help. And so if you pay attention to the stuff that Dave and I talk about, then you're going to go a long, long way towards the land of optimal health, which is something that most people don't even think is possible. It's because we're locked inside of this paradigm of disease management, right? I mean, for goodness sakes, you look around, everybody's sick. Everybody's overweight. Everybody's got something. Everybody's on at least 2 prescription meds. And, you know, that's the new normal. But it's only the new normal because we don't have a free market. So,
well, you know, Peter, even from a trauma standpoint, I mean, you can do the best operation in the world to help somebody who has a broken bone or a torn rotator cuff or whatever it might be. But if they're nutritionally depleted, they either will take forever to heal or they won't heal.
That's right.
And when I was, you know, I practiced orthopedic surgery for 32 years, and I would continually talk to my patients about nutrition and you know, doing the right thing nutritionally. And most of them were very open to that, but some of them were like, well, that's not going to make a difference. well, maybe, hopefully in you it won't, but for the vast majority of people, it does. So if you want to take 6 months to get better when you could have gotten better in a month or 2 months, okay, that's your call. That's okay. It's your decision. But again, you know, common knowledge tells us that if you don't have the right building blocks, if you don't have the right foundation, the structure you build on that foundation is not going to be very substantial.
Yeah, you know, whenever we start talking about things like this, I remember I was a couple of years out of medical school, and my nephew was a landscaper, and he ripped his Achilles tendon, tore right off his heel, mm-hmm. his calf muscle rolled up behind his knee, right? Mm-hmm. Had to get surgery for it. He got surgery for it. They reattached it, and I told him what to do. And he was my nephew, and mm-hmm. he trusted me, and he did what I told him to do. He recovered in half the time that the surgeon thought he was going to recover in. The surgeon couldn't believe it, quite frankly, and asked him, what did you do? And he said, well, my uncle's a naturopath, and I did a whole bunch of medical nutrition, and, you know, I'm still waiting for the phone call from the surgeon.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. And the guy just looked at it, oh, that's youth. That's youth. Yeah.
So it's nuts, right? I mean, we don't hesitate to change the oil in our car and to change the transmission fluid in the car and make sure we get really good. You know, you don't put diesel fuel in an unleaded engine, right? We don't think twice about that. Mm-hmm. But nobody considers that when it comes to the human body, and makes a giant difference. When you put the right fuel down the hatch, mm-hmm. and you give the body the building blocks it needs, guess what? You go a long way towards optimizing your health, and that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick.
You know, Pete, over the past couple of weeks, I've gotten a lot of people email me, and they're new to our platform. And they said, you know, they developed symptoms consistent with upper respiratory issues. And they actually thought they had COVID. Right. And they went in, and they got tested, and they were negative. And they saw their docs, and the doc said, well, you have these. This is consistent with some sinus issues, allergy issues, and the like. So a number of folks have asked that, and you and I discuss the issues of, from a nutritional standpoint, how should folks handle, and it's this time of year too, obviously, but handle the allergy, what can they do nutritionally to address allergy issues and sinus-related symptom issues?
Yeah, so that's a really big subject, and it's interesting, don't you think, that these types of symptoms roll into town when the seasons change?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think that's interesting?
It is.
I think that that's interesting, and there are a number of people in my profession who believe that one of the things that's happening is as the climate changes, right, especially if you live above the Mason-Dixon line where the climate change is pretty extreme,
Mm-hmm.
right, from summer to winter. As the climate changes, it puts a stress on the body, and if the body is undernutrified, things in the body are going to start to break down.
Mm-hmm.
And the symptomology that people develop is the body cleaning house. The body kind of getting rid of the old, diseased, bad, unhealthy tissue, which was kind of slammed by the stress of the seasonal change in the weather.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other, there's energetic things that also happen. I don't want to get into that. But the simple fact of the matter is that it's this time of the year, as the seasons change, is another stress to the human body.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? Well, we want to make sure we're eating all the right food. We want to make sure we're filled up with the 90 essential nutrients to make sure that the body's got a fighting chance. And then extra stuff that we can take at this time of the year to help the body handle that type of stress, especially if it's upper respiratory tract stuff,
Mm-hmm.
is the Cell Shield RTQ.
Say that again.
Yeah, it's a product called Cell Shield.
Oh, Cell Shield.
RTQ.
Mm-hmm.
The R stands for resveratrol, T for turmeric, and Q for quercetin.
Mm.
It's a really interesting recipe because each of those botanicals, or botanical medicines, each of them, do different things to the immune system in order to help it deal with the stress. It's kind of like, the police department in your town. They've got the cops on the bikes, they've got the cops on the horses, they've got the cops on the cars, they got the SWAT team, right? And they got the detectives,
Mm-hmm.
right? All these different parts of the police force. Well, your immune system's the same way. So the resveratrol, the turmeric, and the quercetin upregulate different parts of the immune system to give it an extra added help at this time of the year, which is a really good thing. Now, however, I have to warn you. The quercetin. I can't believe I'm gonna tell this story, but I'm gonna full disclosure here. About 5 years ago, I'm getting on a plane early in the morning in Chicago. I got to fly to Louisiana to give a lecture.
Mm-hmm.
I slept through my alarm.
Oh.
I'm in a flurry leaving the house to get to the car, to get to the airport, right? It's like a mad dash. I don't have anything to eat. I grab a cup of coffee and a handful of Cell Shield RTQ, right? Because it was this time of the year.
Yeah.
So I slam down 6 Cell Shield RTQ
Whoa.
on an empty stomach with a cup of coffee, right? Go to the airport, make it on time, right? My heart's going a million miles an hour. I'm like squeeze in right before they close the flipping door on the plane, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm on the plane. I sit down on the plane, and all of a sudden, I start to get lightheaded.
Uh-oh.
And the next thing I know, I've got paramedics standing over me saying, Sir, are you okay? I passed out in my seat on the plane. Because the quercetin in the RTQ lowers your blood pressure. That's one of the things that it does.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you take too many without anything else in the body,
Right.
and then you increase the circulation with a couple of shots of espresso, you're gonna. And I've been doing this for years, so my system responds relatively quickly to this stuff. Man, I can't believe it, but I passed out. They wheeled me off the plane. They put me in, the ambulance, right? And they say, what hospital do you want to go to? And I said, I'm not going to any hospital. I said, I can tell you exactly what happened. Just put it on me, give me some fluids, wait 10 minutes, and my blood pressure will come right back to normal. And it did. and they let me out of the ambulance, and I hailed a cab and went home. But so this story, it says a lot of things. Number one, don't do what Dr. Glidden did, and don't be an idiot, because it's all about the balance, right?
Right.
You got to make sure this stuff is, this is not dangerous stuff, but it has a powerful metabolic influence.
Right.
Powerful metabolic influence. You have to do it the right way. You do it the right way, you're going to get really positive results. And so
how many? What should be the dosage of this Cell Shield RTQ then? Now, obviously,
well,
not
if
a
you're
handful.
Under 100 pounds.
What?
3 times a day.
3 times a day.
If you're, around 200 pounds, 2-3 times a day. If you're over 200 pounds, you're over 250 pounds, maybe three times a day. You don't want to do 6 all at once.
No. and
I don't even remember why I did that. Honest, I just thought it was Superman, I think, and you know how that goes, right?
Well, it's all right. It was a good try.
So that's the first thing. Cell Shield RTQ. Get a bottle, 1 3 times a day, 2 3 times a day, or 3 times a day if you're over 250 pounds. And now, allergies, right? The subject of allergies is really, really, really interesting. Really interesting. From the naturopathic point of view, an allergic reaction, whether it's a classical immediate hypersensitivity allergy, like, you eat the peanut and your throat swells up and you need the EpiPen.
Right.
Or it's a seasonal allergy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Goldenrod or hay fever or whatever, pine pollen. Doesn't matter. Or if you have a food allergy, right? We look to the digestive tract, the small intestine specifically, because the small intestine is the border between the inside and the outside of the body, which is a fun fact to know and tell. When you swallow food and it's in your stomach, or it's in your small intestine, or it's in your colon, it's outside of your body. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because that's just a tube.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. It goes from the North Pole to the South Pole, and when stuff is in the tube, it's outside the body.
Right.
Technically, stuff doesn't get inside the body till it gets absorbed. Mm-hmm. And it gets absorbed in the small intestine. But, as above, so below. Our country has borders. The state has borders. Your house has borders. Human body has borders. The immune system, the central headquarters of your body's immune system, is in the small intestine at the juncture between the inside and the outside of the body. So when your small intestine absorbs things into the bloodstream, the immune system is there, and it gives it a pass or a fail. Mm-hmm. And if it gives it a fail, parts of the immune system are activated, and the body kills it, and everybody's good, right? You don't get through the border without the right documents. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
However, because of years, sometimes decades of eating all the wrong food and having a nutritional tank that's running on empty, mm-hmm. the border fence, which is the small intestine, gets holes punched in it, right? Mm-hmm. Just like the illegal alien sneaking across the border at the weak spots, right? Mm-hmm. So when you swallow something, even if it's 100% organic, awesome food, right, grown by Trappist monks and harvested under a full moon while they're chanting, right? If that food passes into the bloodstream through one of the holes in the fence, mm-hmm. it's going to elicit an immune response. Mm-hmm. And this is the foundation of every allergic response in the world. I don't care what kind of allergy it is. I don't care if it's an allergy to a cat. I don't care if it's an allergy to hay fever. I don't care if it's an allergy to chocolate. Doesn't matter. So what we do, which is kind of counterintuitive. I mean, everybody else gives antihistamines, right? Take an antihistamine spray and this, that, and the other thing, right? Well, you can do that to step down the symptoms.
Right.
But a smarter thing to do is trace it to the root.
Right.
What's the root? An unhealthy gut, the bad border. So what do? We help the body to heal the barrier between the inside and the outside of the body. And we do that with the ultimate microbiome. This is a
ultimate microbiome. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a relatively new product. It's about a year old in Longevity Nation. It's a combination of a number of different mushroom extracts. Really interesting research around mushrooms. My God, the research, and it's the Japanese that are doing most of it. But the research that's been done on medicinal mushrooms, this is you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. A couple of years from now, Pfizer's going to, bring to the market some magic immune booster made from a mushroom, right? Because this stuff is extremely metabolically active. It's extremely powerful in helping the body to heal itself, especially the small intestine, especially the border between the inside and the outside of the body. Plus, it also has a revolutionary patented molecule called I-26, which is fascinating. It's a fascinating molecule in its development and its delivery to the human body, but it goes a long way towards helping the immune system specifically to be strengthened. My wife forever had cat allergies. We couldn't live with a cat because she loved cats, wanted to have a cat. Couldn't have a cat. She did the I-26 for 6 months. Cat allergies are gone. We just got a cat at the end of August. She's happy as a clam. She doesn't have cat allergies anymore. She had them her whole life. And it was this stuff that did it. Because remember, you can treat the symptoms all day long if you want.
Right.
But
not the underlying cause. Yeah.
To get to the root. And so you're suffering from allergies. Mm-hmm. Do the ultimate microbiome. If you're over 200 pounds, get 2 canisters a month. Do 1 scoop twice a day. If you're under 100 pounds, do 1 canister a month, 1 scoop twice a day. Do it for 90 days. And if you are having sinus and allergy problems because of the change of the seasons right now, Cell Shield RTQ is going to be your best friend. You're going to love how you make it feel. It makes you feel, and that stuff's it's like the 1-2 punch. It's a great combo moving forward.
And all this information, our previous videos, the 12 bad foods that you should avoid, it's free. The video, it's on our website, operationfreedomhealth.com. The products are on the website as well. Full disclosure, purchase of the products does help support this platform. We have our previous videos. We have information on all the products. We have information on different systems, whether it's digestive or cardiac or immune and the like. And then the products that Peter mentioned here today are also available. Peter, educate our listeners on, so that's all available on operationfreedomhealth.com. Educate our listeners as we close here on riseupintohealth.com.
Well, it's a website that I put together to educate people. It's like a deep dive into the wonderful world of Dr. Glidden's mind. Informed by 32 years of clinical experience with naturopathic medicine, right? So I talk about the things that we talk about on this show and like the little snippets we have at Operation Freedom Health, but in a much deeper, kind of broader way. Mm-hmm. The intention here is to educate. Because, you can give a fella a fish or you can teach a man to fish. Better to teach a man to fish, right? So, for instance, if you're suffering with high blood pressure, the first thing to consider is you don't have enough calcium and magnesium in your body. Mm-hmm. It's not because you have a lisinopril deficiency. If you have kidney stones, the first thing to consider is it's calcium deficiency, not a calcium excess. Mm-hmm. If you have asthma, the first thing to consider is it's an omega-3 essential fatty acid deficiency, and on and on and on and on. There's a ton of stuff that you weren't taught by the lamestream media. And your medical doctor, God bless him, doesn't know this.
No, it's not taught in medical school. Not taught in medical school.
So, and there's only a handful of us that are standing up and on this stage and waving the flag and say, hey, look over here. There's a whole lot going on that you need to know about. So that's why I put this together, to help do my part in ending human suffering. Because, and that sounds like a kind of a big ask or a big thing to say, but it's true. I mean, people suffer needlessly from my point of view.
Oh, I agree.
Most people wouldn't believe the things we've seen people recover from. So this is just next generation, not yet mainstream information that really has the potential to make a giant difference in your life. So go to the website, check it out, become a member, and access this information on a regular basis. In that way, we can all lift ourselves up together, because we have to stick together here. This is like a grassroots coalition of the informed, right?
True.
So you hear us talk, and little lights start to go off in your brain, and then you apply the stuff we talk about, and you feel better, and then it's your job to tell everybody in your life about it. And that's how we're going to change the world. It's not going to happen. You know, the pharmaceutical industry is not going to all of a sudden call us up and say, hey, Dr. Jan to Dr. Glidden, we'd like to give you $10 million to continue this education. That's never going to happen.
Nope.
So we're relying on you.
That's because our last names aren't Biden.
Ah! Exactly. Boy, I hope he takes a long walk off a short pier in the very near future.
Well, it's sick. It's sick. Speaking of sick, I encourage everyone. I encourage everyone to get Peter's books. They're outstanding, and they should be the foundation of your library. Everybody is sick, and I know why. And Attempt to Cure with Holistic Medicine. Peter, I'd like to thank you for everything you have done, are doing, and will do. And I'd like to thank you folks for joining us today. All this information available at OperationFreedomHealth.com, as well as the products. Until next time, Dave Janis signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today.